All right, ready to dive into some serious Irish finance. We're talking leveling up your money game, folks. Credit card hacks, credit union secrets, even conquering car financing. We've got it all.
Managing your money here in Ireland is really interesting. It's this mix of old and new. You've got those traditional institutions everyone loves, like credit unions, but then bam, you have these super modern fintech companies popping up left and right. Dynamic, that's for sure, and full of opportunity if you know what you're doing.
And lucky for us, that's why you're here. Something I came across really surprised me. Have you heard about these cashback credit cards? Apparently, you can actually earn money by spending money.
Sounds a bit far-fetched, like those leprechaun stories, right?
Right. Hundreds of euro back in your pocket every year just for using the right card. Tell me more.
Well, it's not a fairy tale, I can tell you that. Cashback cards can be a really good way to earn as you spend. The important thing is to use them responsibly,
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that could be important.
because those interest rates can turn your cashback dream into a debt nightmare pretty quickly if you're not careful.
Got it. So let's break it down. Say I'm new to all of this. What am I actually getting back and how much are we talking about?
So basically, every time you use a cashback credit card for a purchase, you get a percentage of that purchase back as cash. Think of it as a mini discount on everything you buy. The amount you get back depends on the card and what you're buying. Usually it's somewhere between 0.5% to 5%, sometimes even more if there's a special promotion going on.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So there's a strategy to it then. It's not just free money.
Definitely a strategy. Some cards give you a flat cashback rate. That means you earn the same percentage back no matter what you buy. Others have something called category-based cashback. You might earn a higher percentage on things you buy all the time, like groceries or petrol. It all depends on your spending habits. Timing those big purchases with bonus cashback periods is another smart move to get the most out of your rewards.
Wow, so many options. I'm already getting competitive about this. Now let's bring it home to Ireland. Any cards here that really stand out?
Absolutely. If you want a good all-rounder, the AB Platinum card is a solid choice. You get 0.5% cashback on all purchases, and there's no annual fee. So say you spend about €1,000 long a month on that card, you get €5 back.
60 euros a year? Not bad.
Exactly, it adds up over time. And it's just for using a card you're probably already using anyway.
Exactly. What about those of us who love to travel? Anything for us.
Of course. For the jet setters, the Bank of Ireland Air credit card is a game changer. You get a 1% cash back on all those Aer Lingus flights, but, and there's always a but, keep in mind there's a monthly fee of $7.99.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're flying enough to actually offset that cost and then some.
Right, good point. You did mention responsible use earlier, and I think it's worth repeating. What are some of the things people should be careful about with these cashback cards?
Honestly, the biggest thing is to avoid falling into that debt trap. These cards are designed to make you want to spend more, to entice you.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get caught up in earning that cash back and forget that, you're still racking up debt if you're not paying off the balance in full every month.
Hmm.
And those high interest rates can quickly wipe out any cash back you earned and leave you in a worse position than you were before.
So it's all about balance.
Exactly.
Moderation is key.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of managing your money well, let's talk about credit unions. I know I always think community and helping each other out when I hear about them. Am I way off?
No, you're spot on. Credit unions have this fantastic community feel because they're owned by their members, not by, some big corporation or shareholders. So their priority in their members and their financial needs, not maximizing profits for some faceless entity. And it's no wonder nearly 65% of Irish adults are members. That says a lot about their appeal and how much trust they build within the community.
That's incredible. So what does that actually mean for members? What are the advantages of going with a credit union compared to a traditional bank?
Well, because they're not all about profits, they can offer better interest rates on loans and higher returns on savings. For example, let's say you need a personal loan. Let's say for $10,000.
Okay.
A traditional bank might offer you an interest rate of maybe 8%, but a credit union could give you the same loan for 6%. That's a 200 difference every year.
Wow, okay, that's a big difference.
It adds up, right? And it's not just about the numbers either. Credit unions are really known for their personal touch.
Yeah.
They actually take the time to get to know their members, to understand their money situation, and offer advice and support that makes sense for them.
So it's more like they're invested in your success, not just their bottom line.
Precisely. It's like having a financial advisor in your corner who's on your team, rooting for you. And whether you're saving up for a house deposit, planning a trip, or just trying to stay on top of bills, credit unions can offer a whole range of financial products and services. And they're often more competitive and more flexible than what you'd find at a traditional bank.
I'm ready to run to my local credit union right now.
Well, what kind of things can they actually help with? Loans, savings, everything.
Pretty much. They handle everything from personal loans, car loans, even mortgages, and savings accounts, current accounts, even insurance. They really do cover it all. And another bonus, their loan application process tends to be way more straightforward than those larger banks. Less bureaucracy to deal with. Music to my ears. Okay, so speaking of loans, let's talk about a big one that always has people confused: car financing. There are so many options, it's overwhelming. You practically need a PhD in finance to figure it all out.
It's true. Car financing can feel like a maze. There's the classic car loans, then hire purchase, which people shorten to HP, and then there's this thing called personal contract purchase, PCP.
PCP. That one sounds a bit intimidating.
It's not as scary as it sounds.
Okay, good to know. Before we get into the details of each option, can you give us a quick overview? What are the main differences? What should we really be focusing on when we're trying to choose between these car financing options?
Absolutely. First up, think about ownership. With a regular car loan, the car is yours. From day one, you own it outright. But with HP and PCP, you're essentially renting or leasing the car. And you have the option to buy it at the end of the agreement.
Right.
And this can really change things when you think about insurance, who takes care of maintenance, even who pays if something goes wrong.
So it's not just about the monthly payment, it's about who's ultimately responsible for that car.
Precisely. The second thing, and it's a big one, is the overall cost. It's easy to get lured in by those low monthly payment offers, right? But you have to look at the bigger picture, at the total cost you'll pay over time.
Okay.
Include the interest rates, any fees, and those potential balloon payments that could pop up at the end of some agreements.
It's like a long game, not a sprint.
You got it. It's like a good Irish stew.
Oh, I like where this is going.
You gotta let it simmer. Consider all the ingredients before you decide if it's the right recipe.
That's a perfect analogy. Listeners, remember car financing. It's like a good Irish stew. All right, so last time, we covered some serious ground. Cashback cards, the magic of credit unions, and that perfect Irish stew analogy for car financing.
I kind of want some stew now.
Yeah.
But we're moving on to the exciting world of Fintech. Those digital disruptors shaking things up in Ireland.
Things are changing fast, that's for sure.
We're talking Wise, Revolut, N26. Are these guys friends or foes of traditional banks?
You know, that's the million-euro question, isn't it?
Right.
They're definitely giving those traditional banks a run for their money, I'll tell you that. But I see them more as like specialized tools, in your financial toolbox.
Okay.
Each one has its strengths. And the smart Irish user, they can use those to their advantage, absolutely.
Love it. Okay, let's unpack these Fintech players. First up, Wise. Used to be called TransferWise. I've heard their exchange rates for sending money abroad are amazing. Is that true?
It's true. Those rumors are true. Wise is a total game changer for international money transfers. Their whole thing is transparency and super competitive exchange rates. Way better than what the banks offer most of the time.
So if I'm tired of getting slammed with fees every time I send money back home to family or buy something from a website in like dollars or pounds, Wise is the answer.
You got it. They cut out the middleman, cut out the hidden fees. International payments are faster, cheaper, less of a headache overall.
Love to hear it. Okay, Revolut. They are everywhere these days, especially with, like, my younger nieces and nephews. What's the deal with them? Why are they so popular?
Revolut's like that adventurous friend, always up for trying new things. Their app is super sleek, like a mini financial control center right in your pocket. You've got budgeting tools, spending trackers. They even let you mess around with cryptocurrency a little. It's all about managing your money easier and, dare I say, enjoyable.
Okay, hold on. Cryptocurrency, what's that all about? Should I be looking into that?
That's a whole other deep dive.
Future.
But basically, Revolut lets you dip your toe into that world, the crypto world, without needing to become some kind of blockchain whiz. Just be sure to do your research and understand the risks, as always.
Right, got it. So back to Revolut. It sounds like they're trying to be like the one-stop shop for all things money.
That's the idea. They're targeting that generation that does everything from their phone, and it's working. They've got a ton of users, especially here. Plus, those free ATM withdrawals up to a certain limit are a lifesaver when you're traveling.
Very cool. Last but not least, N26. They're a bit more low-key than Revolut, but I've heard good things.
N26 is like that reliable friend, always there for you, no drama. They're a real bank, fully licensed, so you've got that security, but they operate completely online. It's the convenience of an app, but with that traditional banking peace of mind.
So best of both worlds.
Exactly. They've got all the basics covered. A current account, debit card, direct debits. And you can manage it all from your phone. Plus, your money's protected up to €100,000 under EU law, so that's a big plus.
That's good to know, for sure. So it sounds like there's no one right answer when it comes to these fintech platforms. It's more about finding the one that works best for you.
You're getting it. Like, maybe you use Wise for big international transfers. Keep Revolut as your travel buddy, and have N26 as your everyday banking go-to. That's the beauty of it. You can mix and match.
Now I feel like a financial wizard. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cost of living in Ireland. We all know it's high, but how high are we really talking?
All right, brace yourself. The Numbeo Cost of Living Index, it currently ranks Ireland as the 13th most expensive country in the world.
Wow, 13th.
And the 7th most expensive in the EU.
Oof.
And if you're thinking about Dublin, get ready for some sticker shock, housing especially.
Dublin. Such a beautiful city, but expensive. Why is it so pricey to live there?
It's a combination of things, really. The population's growing, there's not enough affordable housing, and the economy is booming. Which attracts people from everywhere, of course, which just adds to the demand. More people, fewer places to live, prices go up. Classic supply and demand.
So it's not just Dublin that's expensive. Is it actually more affordable to live in other parts of Ireland?
It's definitely easier on the wallet outside of Dublin, but it's not always that simple. You might find a cute place for a fraction of the Dublin price in Galway or Cork, but salaries tend to be lower too. It's about figuring out what matters most to you.
It's about priorities for sure.
Exactly. Big city buzz or a more laid-back lifestyle, it's your call.
Decisions. Okay, besides housing, what other cost of living factors might surprise people? What should they be prepared for?
One word: childcare.
Oh boy.
Ireland has some of the highest childcare costs in the EU. It's a huge expense for families, especially those with young kids.
Wow.
It's not unusual for it to eat up a big chunk of a family's income. Makes going back to work a tough decision for a lot of parents.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a major factor for anyone thinking of having kids in Ireland. It's not just diapers and baby food. It's the cost of having someone to watch them while you're at work.
Exactly. And trying to find good, affordable childcare is a whole other challenge. There are some government programs and subsidies, but it's still a big expense.
Okay, childcare costs. Noted. But let's not get too down. What about having fun? How can we enjoy Ireland without going broke?
Oh, you're in luck. Ireland has an amazing arts and culture scene, and it's surprisingly affordable. Museums, galleries, those traditional music sessions in pubs, festivals, there's something for everyone.
Phew, that's a relief. We don't have to live like hermits to afford to have fun.
Definitely not. And don't forget about exploring the country itself. Pack a picnic, put on your walking shoes, and go. The best things in life are free, after all.
Words to live by. Okay, before we wrap up, we can't ignore taxes. Everyone loves talking about taxes, right?
Everyone's favorite topic.
How does Ireland's tax system compare to other countries in the EU? Is it a good deal or?
It's a bit of a mixed bag, honestly. We've got a pretty low corporate tax rate, which is why we have so many international companies here. But personal income tax, that's where things get a bit tricky.
So it sounds like we might need a leprechaun and a four-leaf clover to figure out these taxes.
Yeah.
You said things can get a bit complicated. What do we need to know?
Well, the income tax rates aren't actually the highest in Europe. We have these different tax bands, so the percentage you pay depends on how much you earn.
Makes sense.
But there's a catch, isn't there always?
Uh-oh. There's always a catch.
On top of your income tax, we have this thing called the Universal Social Charge, USC for short. It's basically another tax on your income that goes towards public services like healthcare and social welfare.
Okay, so it's like a hidden tax.
You could say that. And then there are social insurance contributions, PRSI. Those go towards pensions, unemployment benefits, things like that. So yeah, when you put it all together, it can add up, especially if you're earning a decent wage.
It's like a puzzle. Figure out one part, then another one pops up.
Right.
So, should I brush up on my Gaelic
Mm-hmm.
and move to the Aran Islands?
Yeah.
Live off the land? Avoid all these taxes?
The Aran Islands are lovely, but maybe not the most practical plan. The important thing is to really understand how the Irish tax system works. That's key to managing your money well here.
Makes sense.
Don't just look at the income tax rates, you know? Consider those extra contributions, too. And hey, never hurts to talk to a tax advisor if you need help.
Solid advice. Any other words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up? Everyone listening out there who's ready to become a master of their own financial destiny.
I'd say don't be afraid to ask questions, compare rates, look for the best deals.
Yeah.
Oh, and never underestimate the power of a good plan.
Yes.
Whether you're picking a credit card, checking out credit unions, or, like we said, getting a grip on those taxes, knowledge is power.
I love it. It's like that saying, a wise man learns by the experience of others, and we have learned a lot today. So go forth, dear listeners. Use this knowledge and crush those financial goals. And hey, may the luck of the Irish be with you.
Johnny, go fire!
And that, my friends, is a wrap on our Irish finance adventure. We had a blast, and we hope you did too. Most importantly, we hope you picked up some useful tips and tricks. Until next time, spend wisely, save smartly, and may that luck of the Irish be with you all.